Hi everybody, it's December 5th, 2025. Sometimes it feels like life is a meal that is nourishing, but it is also, I guess you could say, hard to digest, and that kind of stunts our avarice for wanting to consume life and wanting to internalize what it gives to us through nourishment and through spiritual digestion, I guess you could say. And when you are turned off from wanting to partake in life, it has consequences. But the very fine line that you walk when you want to experience life and you want to have more in life, and the time you want to rest and just step away from life, that fine line is so fine because you don't want to give up in life. Because what happens when you give up in life and you just let things happen and you let things slide and you just don't try anymore? When that happens, you are either going to be given grace in order to rest and to start again anew, or things are just going to, you're going to internalize things that there's going to be battles to get them off your shoulders later on in your walk in life. So what I found is the best way to continue to want to partake in life and to experience life and go forward, the best things to do is to trick yourself into doing the things that you don't want to do and making them fun. And you could do this many different ways. You just have to figure out what works for yourself. And if you can't make them seem fun, try to find the meaning in life in general, and then try to get better at finding the meaning in tasks and duties that you have to perform in order to give yourself motivation to partake in life and continue. And I start to think about how we get warped when we're waiting. If you have been waiting for a significant amount of time for something to change or something to come along, and it is getting hard to continue maintaining your patience, you may get warped in a way where before you were more accommodating, and now you have become impatient with the people in your life and the people in your sphere. And you can see this happening to you, and it may be a very unflattering look at yourself, where you used to become, when you used to be jovial or accommodating, and now you don't have patience for, per se, people that need patience, like the elderly and children, or your parents when they need you to be there for them as they were for you when you were a child. So you get warped in that way, and the best way that I found is to repair or to avoid being warped in a way that takes away your civility or your understanding, is you have to make sure that you are not on autopilot too much. Because when you are on autopilot, you accumulate unconscious habits, unconscious attitudes that you adopt when you're on autopilot. If you see the humanity in everybody and try to train yourself to always see the humanity in even the passerby in your life, you will stunt the growth of being impatient and understanding or being non-understanding with people that need your patience. Another way that waiting could warp you is how you interact with time. When you are waiting for a long time for something to come along or someone to come along, time seems incredibly slow when there's nothing much to do except for wait, when there's nothing much to do to take your attention. And when time feels so slow and it starts to feel like there's no importance to it, or it's like a test, or maybe like daunting to get through these times of nothingness, you have to remember that although you are devoted to what you want, what you are waiting for, you have a life to maintain. So when time feels slow, the trick is not to try to speed it up and distract yourself. It is to, as I said before, impart meaning into the times when it's slow. And it's easier to do because you have more time to accrue skills. You have more time to accumulate your knowledge and your development, your personal development. So when you have time and it feels so slow and you are waiting, put yourself to work with doing things that are meaningful and make meaning out of the sparse areas of your life, and you'll see that you'll start to feel an abundance of life occurring in your experience. And I guess you could say another way that waiting warps you is there's hard lessons that come. Because while you are waiting, when you get older, people are going to die. People are going to leave you. You are going to move around. There's going to be endings to things. And it's going to make your waiting seem very arduous because you are waiting and these people in your life are dying. You are missing people. You haven't seen friends in years, and you're moving maybe across the world, maybe across the country, maybe across city, and things change and things are ending and you feel that waiting weighing down on you. So when this type of situation occurs, in order to not be warped into bad habits or in a bad mindset or having your heart in a bad space, is just to really, when endings happen like that in the terms of your waiting, the best thing you could do to respond is to not necessarily make new beginnings and start happily, because that's very hard to do if you cannot lie to yourself. It just comes down to starting to make note of the precious things in your life. You may be waiting for a big precious thing to occur in your life. That's what you were waiting for. But if you realize the preciousness of your health, if you are in your middle age and you have your health and you have very low injury rates, that's precious. If you are middle-aged and you still have your parents or a parent left and you have a good relationship with them, that's precious. That's not to be ignored during your waiting time. If you are financially able to make time and treat yourself here and then more than you have been in the past, that's precious. The precious things that are still in your life will not go away when what you are waiting for comes. So you see the accumulation of grace, the accumulation of God's love for you happening. If you can see that in real time, it will stop you from being warped by the nature of time when you are waiting. So I hope this helps. Thanks.